Chapter 8. Dreamscape Drifters. Night draped itself over the decaying workshop like a thick velvet curtain, muffling the outside world. Within those walls, however, anticipation and unease hummed like static in the air. The watchers sat scattered among overturned crates and wooden pallets, their faces flickering in the pale glow of lanterns. Selene felt each beat of her heart echo in her ears. Tonight they would attempt something new, a deeper foray into the dream realm, a collective drift that Draven insisted could unify them. She crouched beside a makeshift table, where Ava carefully laid out small, egg-sized devices connected by thin wires. They looked like lumps of scrap, but Ethan explained they were dream stabilizers, cobbled together from old circuits and a dash of improvised tech. Their purpose, to keep the group anchored while sharing a dream. A subtle hush fell over the watchers, intrigued by the chance to explore dreamscapes beyond the typical illusions. "All right, gather up," Draven said, stepping into the circle of light. His silver-threaded hair caught the lantern glow, accentuating the determined set of his features. "We're attempting a synchronized dive. The organization's stepped up raids and we can't lose more ground. If we master shared dreams, we can train faster, learn to fight back without alerting them." Selene's gaze flitted around the room. Across from her, Ethan gave a firm, encouraging nod. Ava busied herself, handing each watcher a stabilizer to hold or clip onto a belt loop. Lyle lingered on the outskirts, his arms crossed, expression guarded. The tension between them, between the entire group, hadn't lessened since the suspicions of betrayal arose, but no one spoke of it tonight. They needed unity, however temporary. Draven gestured for everyone to sit. "Ava, start the induction." Ava closed her eyes, inhaling deeply. Her voice slipped into a low, soothing timbre, guiding each listener's breath into slow, measured rhythm. Selene felt the swirl of the workshop's dimness begin to blur, her eyelids heavy as if weighted by unseen hands. When she glanced down at the device strapped to her wrist, its tiny LED flickered, pulsing in time with her heart. The edges of reality softened. Then darkness swept over her senses and reformed into a realm of impossible shapes and colors. She stood in a vast clearing, under an indigo sky. The ground beneath her feet was lush grass that faded into the gentle lap of turquoise water. Wind stroked her cheeks with a pleasant warmth, and overhead, luminous dragonflies the size of her palm glided on a breeze. It was breathtaking, and unmistakably a dream. Selene turned slowly, taking stock. Draven appeared to her right, clad in the same clothes he'd worn in the workshop, but they shimmered as though woven from starlight. Ava hovered a short distance away, half in awe of the swirling sky. Ethan stood at the perimeter, scanning the dream horizon with purposeful intent. And there were watchers, some in ragged attire, others wearing half-baked illusions that flickered in and out. Lyle, arms folded, had joined them too, though his expression was tightly controlled. "This is Ava's conjured template," Draven explained, his voice smooth but carrying that familiar undercurrent of caution. "She's created a safe, neutral space for us to practice. No labyrinthine illusions, no leftover nightmares, at least for now." Selene marveled at how calm everything felt. In her private dreams, she'd always wrestled with the swirl of emotion fueling her illusions. Here, Ava's empathic influence seemed to cradle them in gentle stability. The watchers began to explore, some testing how far they could drift before the dream shifted. Others attempted small illusions, sparks of color, ripples in the sky. Lyle remained planted in place. Draven caught Selene's eye. "Try something small," he urged softly. "Tap into your Oneiric Fusion, merging dream elements with personal intent." She swallowed, glancing at her fingers. When she extended her hand, she pictured a floating archway of shimmering glass. A swirl of warmth spread from her chest to her fingertips, and to her delight, a delicate curved arch appeared at the clearing's center. A hush of wonder passed over the watchers. The arch glowed with a faint brilliance, blending seamlessly with Ava's dream environment. But the moment was short-lived. A fissure snaked across the sky with a thunderous crack, and the air rippled like a disturbed pond. Ava gasped, her control faltering as a roiling black mist seeped into the horizon. Someone yelped. Selene's arch flickered and nearly vanished. Ethan's voice rang out. "Maintain focus. Something's invading from outside the dream." A wave of dread slithered down Selene's spine. She recognized that oily darkness, reminiscent of the Enforcer's meddling or a traitorous breach. Lyle's figure blurred at the edge of her vision, shifting uncertainly. The Watchers closed ranks, illusions flaring in brief attempts to repel the intrusion. Ava fought to seal the dream from infiltration, her posture rigid with strain. Yet the mist expanded, devouring swathes of turquoise water and inky sky. Draven's features tightened in grim concentration. "Everyone, linked together, combine your dream energy." Selene and a handful of Watchers clasped hands. Willing her newfound powers to stay steady, she projected calming breath into the space. Ava's empathic aura bolstered them, weaving a tapestry of unity. The black mist wavered against their collective effort. Then, with a wrenching pull, the sky fractured. One by one, Watchers were ejected from the dream, their forms snapping out of existence like popped bubbles. Selene clung to consciousness, knuckles going white as she fought to remain. She glimpsed Ethan, mouth set in fierce determination, resisting the pull. Draven's outline flickered alarmingly. Finally the dream collapsed, and reality slammed back into them. Selene's eyes flew open. She was back in the workshop, every muscle trembling. Around her, Watchers gasped and coughed, stunned by the abrupt return. Ava had collapsed to her knees, eyes squeezed shut. Draven steadied her, his own face drawn. Lyle stood alone by the wall, fists clenched, sweat beading his brow. "What happened?" Selene rasped. Draven stared into the gloom. "A breach. Either the organization picked up our shared dream signature, or someone invited them in. They're refining their dream tech faster than we anticipated." Ethan exhaled shakily, pressing a hand to Selene's shoulder. "We still gained valuable practice, but the next time we do this, we'll need stronger protective wards, or a more secure location." Ava, regaining her composure, murmured, "We can't keep losing safe spaces like this. We have to fight back, or we'll never be able to train without interference." In the hush that followed, Selene's heart thundered. She recalled that black mist creeping across the turquoise sky. No matter how wondrous the dream realm could be, it was no sanctuary if the organization, and possibly a mole, could intrude at will. Rising shakily, she saw her archway had manifested for only a few precious seconds. But those seconds had been enough to prove something. United, they could shape miracles in the dream. If they grew stronger, perhaps they could ward off the encroaching shadows, anchor each other against betrayal and fear. The question was whether they could survive the next assault, real or dream, for that chance.